Hello friends, welcome to another episode of the Word Cloud Tarot Show. You may remember in the last episode, last week, we found that the cards told us that there would be legal challenges to the presidency, and those legal challenges are still underway. So as soon as those legal challenges were made clear, we did an emergency show and predicted that Biden would be declared the winner, which indeed he was this week. So the cards are doing quite well lately. Today, we looked at the news and we found a vaccine. The headlines say 90% effective, but that's only on the trial of 100 people that was done before. What's passed today is the safety trials, not the efficacy trials. The safety trials have shown that 40,000 people or so have had no ill effects. The efficacy trials were done on 100 people or so, and that's where the 90% figure comes from. Now, we will be using the Word Cloud Tarot deck, which was designed by me. The meanings of all of the cards are written onto the face of the cards, easily enough for anyone who's literate to read. And that makes them the easiest cards to use in the world. What else do we know about the vaccine? Well, it's been developed by big multinational companies, Pfizer, of course. Their share prices went up today as a result of the news, perhaps, but then all of the shares went up today as a result of perhaps that news or perhaps the Biden presidency. The S&P reached new heights, and the Nasdaq was also well up at the time we recorded this on Monday the 9th of November about 8:30. We will do, I think, for this occasion, we will do a horseshoe reading. For a horseshoe reading, we start with a card representing the past, and we move on to a card representing the present, and then the future as it currently stands, and then intervention. In this case, I think this card will represent the vaccine. From intervention, we change direction, and we see the influence that the guidance will have given. And then obstacles which may be in the way, stopping the result. And then finally, an outcome card. It's quite a lot of cards, and they don't quite fit onto my screen there. But we can push them all along. There we go. So, let's begin with the first card. This card represents the past. The 13th trump, the deadly death. Now, obviously, we know that the vaccine has been causing, not the vaccine, the virus has been causing lots of death, lots of endings, lots of transformation in our society. And so that's what this card is representing, no doubt. We can lead quickly on then to the next card. This represents the current moment and is the 18th trump card, the moon. Now, perhaps this new vaccine is what's known as a moon shoot, and perhaps it seems unrealistically unlikely that one has been done so quickly. The card represents inadequacy and treachery and deception. Is this vaccine a treacherous deception? Is it a trick? Some will be anxious that it is so, no doubt. Let's see what the current future brings. Remember, this is a future without intervention. Without intervention, we get the 7th trump card. That's known as the Chariot. Now, the Chariot, as you can see, is all about effort and zeal and enthusiasm, about travelling, really. That's the main thing that you do with a chariot, of course, is to travel. You gain momentum, sufficient momentum and determination will see you through. So perhaps this indicates that a vaccine was coming regardless. And indeed, there are plenty of other vaccine paths. So now this next card represents the intervention itself. This represents the vaccine. Oh dear. This vaccine is represented by the 5 of Cups. Disappointment. We may find uselessness and betrayal and deception and sorrow. Oh dear, things aren't looking good for this vaccine as it stands. Perhaps this is just that things won't come out quickly enough. Perhaps the vaccine will be too slow. Well, what influences will there be on the path of this intervention? Science, of course, science will be an influence. That is the Six of Swords. Now, in the tarot, this is usually the science of alchemy, I suspect, but it's definitely always about research and philosophy and investigation. These are the influences that will tell us whether this new vaccine is actually going to work or not. Now, there will be obstacles to overcome, no doubt. And here, the obstacles are represented by a new birth, the Ace of Cups. Look at the Ace of Cups there. It's all about the paranormal and also about the workers and clairvoyance. It's about transcendence and union, about bargaining and playfulness. So this card represents, remember, the obstacles that the intervention will need to overcome. So I would say that those obstacles are perhaps the people themselves, the workers and the unions and the babies, of course, and bargaining with society in general. It's quite an ambitious thing to vaccinate an entire world. Our outcome card is the final card we'll be looking at today. That's the First of Wands, the Ace of Wands, which is known as its ability to bring ideas and new development and new creativity. Wands are about will and bringing your own force of desire into existence. So I imagine that this card could represent us returning to normal of society, a rebirth in a new society where we understand our own will. So let's have a look at the cards in general and see if there's anything we can figure out as a summary. Now, I think I can see a good reading here. The virus, of course, caused lots of death and destruction to our society in the past. And at this present moment, we're sleepless and anxious, worried and afraid under the power of the moon. The journey in front of us looks to be a hard slog, a long journey, a difficult journey. And unfortunately, this vaccine is going to bring disappointment. Why is this disappointment? Is it because of the science being bad? I don't think it is. I think that the influence of science will have been good. This is an influence card, not an obstacle card. I think the science is probably brilliant and simple and rational. But the obstacle is this, the people themselves, their bargaining and their passions and their disbelief. In the end, though, the One of Wands is a good card for an outcome. Long-term impact will probably be a good thing. So the cards seem to me to be saying that although this vaccine will cause disappointment, it's more because of the people than the science. So perhaps it won't be uptaken as well as it might. You can prove me wrong. You can prove the cards wrong by of course, taking up this vaccine. But it's going to be next year before most of us get a chance, unless you're a health worker or something. So that's it. That's today's reading. Join us again next week. In the meantime, if you want to do some readings of your own, the wordcloudtarot.com website exists, and from it you can buy one of these lovely packs of cards. As I say many times, if there's an easier set of cards to use in existence, I don't know what they are. See you all in a week.